Hi, welcome to my first video. And since it's my first video, I think it's proper for me to introduce myself. My name is Halim. I've been an educator for about 10 years. And I've taught in public school in Singapore. And after which, I've decided to pursue private tutoring for my own reason, which I may or may not disclose in the near future. I have a diploma in education and I have a degree in counselling from one of the university in Singapore. The purpose of this video basically is to share my views. Okay, this is an unscripted recording where I'll be sharing my view. For this particular video is going to be about the education system and how it kills creativity and talent, and how it's unfair to some group of people, or maybe you can say to everyone actually. I'll let you decide in the comments below. Let me know what you think about what I've said or what I'm going to say. I feel the school system is not suitable for growth. That's how I feel, or that's why I feel that it kills talents and creativity. Basically, it forces you to go through one single route. It might seem that you are given choices, but the choices are controlled. You are not free to explore what you love to do and what you probably might end up being good at. Okay, I'll explain why I say that a bit later. Now, in school, basically when you start, we'll start from the primary level. You are required to take certain subjects that they have decided for you. So in this case, you have no decision whether you are the student or the parent. You have no decision at all. Okay, you are not allowed to choose or decide what you want your child to learn or what you want to learn. Okay, so the learner himself or herself should be the main focus. But instead of letting them explore what they want to learn, we basically force them to learn something that we think is good for them. Now, this is going to hurt them in the long run, because they do not get to explore something that they might end up being good at a young age, which if they are given a chance, they might master that trait or that skill maybe by the time they reach their teenage years. Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say there are two students. Both of them goes to the same school. Okay, at the end of 1 year, they're supposed to take an exam. Alright, and one boy, let's say boy A, he's told that, okay, you have to learn everything that's inside this textbook. Okay, maybe let's say there's 20 topics, and at the end of the year, we will give you a test to see if you have mastered whatever we've taught you. Now, of course, they can't test all the 20 topics in depth, because probably that will require such a thick exam paper with lots of questions. So what they do is they will pick certain topics, certain concepts from the different topics and test that. I've heard this a lot from the students that I've taught in national exams. They say they prepared all these topics for nothing, because at the end of the day, they are not tested. Okay, so that's student A. Student A was told to learn everything from the textbook, and at the end of year 1, he's going to be given a test. Now, for student B, he's specifically told to learn maybe a number of topics, maybe let's say 5 out of the 20. And he was also specifically told what will be tested from those topics. And at the end of the year, he's given the same exam paper as student A. Logic tells us if both are average students, student B has a higher chance of scoring better in the exam, because he has less topics to cover, to remember, and he knows exactly what to study for. Basically, that's how life is. That's how our education prepares us for the real life. We are given all these topics, all these subjects to learn, but at the end of the day, we are not tested on everything. So we wasted a large part of our time studying for things that we don't need or don't require in our life, when we could have used that time to study what really matters. And at the end of the day, we can produce a better outcome, and we can contribute more to the society, because we will become masters of our trade. So the current education system has failed in that area. Every student is forced to take or to learn things that they are not interested in, things that they don't need to further their education in a specific area that they might be interested in. And what's worse, those students who probably have interest in a particular set of subjects or area or specialties or fields, they are not given a chance to explore that at a young age. Let's say this student, he loves science, but he's not very keen in languages. So instead of getting him to focus or to study language like everyone else, he could use that time, for example, instead of studying how to write a story, which he's not interested in. He's not interested in writing any stories. And sorry about that. And he might not use the skill to write a story when he's an adult. Okay, so he could have used that time to study science, which is something he loves, and we could have helped him discover his interest in science further, and specifically help him to identify areas that he probably would want to go into, specifically for science at a younger age. So why is that important? What our education system does now, if let's say you go through the normal route to the university, you'll basically choose your specialty when you reach university, and you are given maybe 3 years to study in that field, which when you graduate, you are expected to work using the knowledge that you have learned or obtained in that short 3 years. Imagine if you are able to do that. Like student B spend 1 whole year to study only the subjects or the topics that matters. So instead of spending 3 years focusing on your specialties, maybe when you are 12, you have discovered that you are more interested in certain areas or certain field, and you're allowed to go into that field or to pursue that particular field at that young age. And you can spend maybe 8 years, 10 years in that particular field, and by the time you are about 20, you definitely have more knowledge than someone who goes to university for 3 years. And at that younger age, 20 years old, you are more equipped to contribute to the society and solve problems better. You'll be a better problem solver at your particular skill, of course, compared to someone who took 3 years to learn about that field, about that area, and then is thrown to the workforce. So what happens in primary school or even secondary school? Students are forced to take other subjects and they are not allowed to pursue what they love or what they have interest in. So these skills their interest, these skills their talent and creativity, because they do not get to explore that area as much as possible. They are not allowed to fully realize their potential in that particular area. And what's worse, sometimes, in fact, I can say most of the time, they are punished by not doing, or rather when they don't do well in other areas that they have no interest in. Okay, how are they punished? They are not allowed to pursue because of those things that they have no interest in. Further down the road, they are punished by not allowed to pursue what they love to do. For example, again, let's say we take science and English. Okay, someone who has no interest in writing composition, has no interest in basically the language itself. Okay, I'm not saying that learning language is not important, but you do not need to learn it to a certain degree that it takes up a lot of your time, when that time can be used for something that you love and you can improve in that area. So let's say this particular guy or this particular person, he don't like English, he loves science. Okay, of course you need English to write reports and stuff, and he probably don't mind writing reports. Okay, so he didn't do well in English, and not because he can't speak English. He can speak English. It's just that he's not good at writing stories. Okay, maybe he's not good at answering certain questions, like how he is required to answer. He's not good at maybe close passage, choosing the right words for that particular context which he has no interest in. So his overall marks will be affected. So when his overall marks is affected, he stands less chance to go into certain courses, as they would require him to have achieved a certain standard of English, or rather a certain grade in English which he failed to attain. Okay, of course this can be used for different subjects too, not just English and science. So because of that, he is punished. Okay, in fact, maybe for let's say we just take science itself, there's many components to science. Maybe he's interested in a certain area in science and he's not interested in the rest. Let's say he's just interested in learning about animals. He's not interested to learn about fossils, about energy. Okay. So when he sits for the exam, he might score well for all the questions that's related to animals, which is what he's interested in. But then he might not score well for the other parts, and he will be penalized. And because of that, he will lose the chance to explore this area that he's interested in the future. So his talent is not, or rather he's not allowed to explore the area which we can say is talented in. Okay. So to me, that's unfair. Compared to, again, I'm repeating myself. Let's say we spotted that, this kid, he's interested in this particular area in science, maybe in learning about cells, but he's not good in other areas of science. So we focus, we let him focus in that particular area. I know it sorts of narrow his choices, but that's what he is interested in. And when someone is interested in something, it's easier for them to understand, it's easier for them to learn that particular area or particular field that he's interested in. So he doesn't need to waste time learning other things that he find, we can say, boring, and which will kill his interest to study. So this is something that I'm not sure we can change, because ultimately we do not control how the system is. Maybe we can talk about what a system is designed for in the future. But for now, that's what I want to address. How unfair the system is to the students. They're not allowed. They're not given time to explore the areas that they are interested in. Rather, they are forced to explore things that they are not interested in. I'm fine with giving them options to explore, but after a year or two, we definitely can see what they like, what they don't like. Even I'm very sure they themselves can tell us what they like and what they don't like. So most of the time, they feel like it's a choice, a burden to go to school, because they need to deal with all these things that they find boring. So the school system has to change so that they can produce better students who will contribute better ideas and be better problem solvers. But I have said, we do not control the system. There's more things I want to share, but for now, we have reached about 25 minutes. Let me know what your thoughts are about what I've said, whether you agree or whether you disagree, or whether there's some things that you think I'm wrong about the education system. I know I'm not always right. I have some ideas which I think is better than what's being implemented. But, like I said, maybe I'm blinded by my own views and judgment. So, as a third person, as a third party, maybe you can help me see some of the things that I missed out. And if you like this video, please do subscribe, because it will help the channel grow, and we'll be able to talk about more things in the future. Thank you very much.